So, as a perfect bookend to my last review on a 1300 GSA, I'm going to take out, I guess, one of the last demos really of a 1250 GSA here at Dick Lovett, and try to be, I don't know if I can be objective, but temper my subjectivity over the two bikes and what is the best user case for either bike at both price points.
The first impressions is it is comfortable, man. It is comfortable. How much fuel have I got? $228 miles. Well, I have checked and there's no one waiting for this bike. Oh, this is nice. Oh, and away we go. Right, well, I'm not going to go on my normal route because I'm going to stay relatively close to here. So this is a low chassis and it feels great. A little bit lower than the automatic ride height of the 1300 and the 1300 GSA. For those taller folks, that's less of a concern, but my little Oompa Loompa legs, it definitely is a concern. There's the hold brake that I wish I had. I did put this screen on my 1250 and it makes such a big difference. And I know you can do that on the 1300, there's different screens. Both my own 1300 that I had and the 1300 GSA had their normal screen, and that bigger screen does make a difference. I did put risers on mine, which made it more comfortable, so on my 1250 that is, but everything else is as you'd expect from a GS or GSA. Let's put it into dynamic mode. When I first did a review on my own 1300 GS, I described it in the difference to the 1250. The 1250 is a monster truck and the 1300 is a rally car. And I 100% stand behind that. Or the 1250 is an old Defender and the new 1300 is a new Defender. I know this will get comments, but this gearbox is better, more consistently better than the 1300 gearbox. The ASA is a different kettle of fish, so I won't compare that, but this gearbox is smoother and quieter than the 1300. For those that have got a 1300 and disagree with me, awesome, I'm pleased for you. Your gearbox must have been built on a different day to mine, because mine was a bag of shit. But it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's softer. The chassis is not a standard, and at low speed and high speed riding, that is noticeable. And this comes on to the reason I wanted to do this review as the back-to-back review of the 1300 GSA. The 1300 GSA, or indeed GS, is a better bike objectively than this bike. It's faster, it's lighter, there's more technology. I mean, the looks are a personal preference, but if you genuinely want a bike to tour, like genuinely tour, and to cover some serious miles regularly, then you need a 30-litre tank. That's fine. And for me, I want a bike with the appropriate amount of technology if I was doing that. Now, for that then, the road points to this bike. The road doesn't point to the 1300 GSA. Not that it's not capable, and it probably won't go wrong. But if it did, you're fucked. And the the softness of the chassis compared to the 1300, I do think invites a different style of riding, which is more touring orientated in a traditional big tourer style. If you want a sports tourer, the 1300 as a machine, would you go for the Multistrada V4S? That's a sports tourer. The Pikes Peak one especially, that's a mental bike. Or the S1000XR, I don't know. But this bike meets the need of 99.9% of the people that would buy a 1300 or a 1300 GSA. And I'm one of them that sold a 1250 for a 1300. So I say this knowing I got my arse handed to me financially twice with my eyes open. The best case for the 1300 GS or GSA is you want the latest and greatest, best bike on the road today to go to a bike night on a Sunday, or you'll bike a cafe for a breakfast, and once or twice a year do a long tour. That's a perfectly legitimate reason to buy that bike. Now, when I posted my 1300 GSA review, I've had to post it twice actually because I deleted it yesterday by accident, and I think between the two postings, let's say, I think it's been viewed for about 800 or 900 hours and had, for my little channel, not bad, like 10,000 views. And son of a, you lost your fucking minds about my opinion. Now, I'm not monetized on YouTube, I'm not sponsored by anybody. My opinion is based on that of some guy that has owned a lot of bikes over the years and ridden a lot of bikes. If someone's going to buy a 1300 GSA or a normal 1300, I hope you love it, because if you don't, you're going to lose your ass. That's the reality. What I can say from a sort of riding, so I'm sat at 50 miles an hour, I feel the wind protection is better on my knees from the form of this tank. I think it's a mistake on this bike, as an older bike, and the new GSA, that they didn't copy the rubber strip that goes up the middle of the normal 1300, because I think that's a bloody brilliant idea. Now, times change and things move on. I totally agree with that. And these 1250s are going to get rarer and rarer and older, where eventually me and others will have to either come back to the 1300 or whatever the new incarnation is, or keep these old dogs on the road. So the inevitability of change is just that. But while we've still got them, we're so desperate to see the biggest and brightest and brightest. But this is still a very fucking capable bike, and will far, as with most bikes and most people, it will far outperform my ability. It is weird actually, because I can get my feet on the ground way more than I could on the 1300, even with the the automatic suspension, and compared to the 900. This does feel small. It actually feels smaller than my 900, and definitely feels smaller than the 1300, which it never did. It always felt like a big old bugger. Quick shift is fine. Unfortunately, I've got these big boots on and the gear lever has not been adjusted for the size of these boots. You know what, I'm going to go that way, which I wouldn't normally do. And the engine has a better tone. Sorry to say. Well, and also to qualify, for all those people that want to jump on the comments and go, well, I think it's got a better... Well, good. I think this has got a better tone. You think whatever you think. Awesome. Brake, 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 brake. Oh, yeah, let's stop here. This is a good spot. Right. Let's have a little stop and a look at something. Right, here we are on a road I don't think I've been before. Anyway, before I left, I got this printed out. Now, I have my opinion on the 1300 GSA. Phenomenal bike. I think it's broadly pointless for most people, but we buy what we buy, right? I remember when I was a kid, my parents had a Mark 1 Golf. It was called a Golf at the time, and they had 3 kids and we all fitted in the car. Nowadays, you've got 1 kid and you buy an SUV. So, times change. But what is interesting, regardless whether I think the 1300 GSA is good, bad or indifferent, or the 1300 non-GSA is good, bad or indifferent, they sit around 22 to 27,000 pounds. It's not chump change by any stretch of imagination. So I got this printed out. These are the GSAs that are currently available from a Motorrad dealer. So 2 years warranty and all that good stuff. What do we have here? We have a 2022 with 1900 miles for £15,500 with 1 owner. Heated grips, ESA, tyre pressure control, cruise control, seat heating, keyless ride, full history. Is the new one that does all 90%, well, this does 90% of the new one. Is the new one worth £10,000 more? What have we got here? So, this is 1250 GSA TE. September 23 it was registered. £15,995 with 920 miles on it. It has ABS, heated grips, hand protection, ESA, tyre pressure control, DTC onboard computer, main stand, engine protection bars, cruise control, seat heating, lower suspension, keyless ride for 16 grand. If you're gonna tour, this has to be a better. It has to be a better option. It's 10 grand. Unless you're in a position, and good luck to you if you are, you go, fuck it, I can afford it, I'm gonna buy it. Awesome. You should totally do that. You should buy that bike, and God, I hope you love it. I've got one more here. What have we got here? Okay, this is a little bit newer, but a little bit more miles. So this is 16,840 quid. March 24. It's done 2,600 miles. It's a TE, heated grips, hand protection, ESA, tyre pressure control, main stand, engine protection jar, cruise control, heated seating and keyless ride. If you need a 30 litre tank and you want to go touring, you could save yourself £10,000 by buying a slightly used one of these. And I'm quite certain there'd be negotiation on those prices. So for all the people that might lose their fucking shit over my comments or my opinions, it is just my opinion. I'm not a professional YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination. The GS and GSA are phenomenal and objectively the best motorbikes I think money can buy. But they are flawed. As all motorbikes are flawed in some way, and there is a significant amount of compromise to be made on those motorcycles. For me, the engine note, the clunkiness of the gearbox, the cost. You're going to lose your ass on it, should you want to get rid of it quickly, when there's bikes like these that exist for 10 grand less. but it pays your money, right? And the other thing that my father today told me some maths he was doing on his motorbike. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. It's probably a margin of true. We want more power. For every 8 kilos you put on a bike, you lose about 1 horsepower-ish. So you take 8 kilos off, you gain a horsepower. I suppose in theory that's right. So if we want the 1250 to be more powerful, and you're 18 stone, have 1 less pie a week and your bike will be faster. Or eat all the fucking pies you want and buy a 1300. The choice is yours. But with that, if you could hit subscribe, that'd be awesome.